live stream featuring survival horror, science fiction, and fantasy authors Alan Gamboa, Scott Baker, Rich Restucci, and Hadley Thorne. They get together to discuss, debate, and dissect the latest new movie releases, personal recommendations, and their week-by-week after viewing responses to a current streaming series. Like, follow, and subscribe to Wyrd Realities on all our social media at Linktree. That's linktr.ee/Wyrd Realities, and that's Wyrd with the Y. Be sure to check out our webpage and subscribe to our monthly newsletter where we highlight our partners, followers, Wyrd Kids, talk latest books releases, and more. That's at www.wyrdrealities.net.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You hear the crunching in the background. That's Wilson. He's got something he's not supposed to have.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what it is, though.
I got Fred a big treat that will hopefully keep him quiet for 45, 50 minutes.
Well, so this is season 4, episode 1 of Watching Wyrd.
Damn.
I feel to have made it to season 4.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
outstanding.
Don't kill me with your enthusiasm there, boys. Come
Yeah,
on.
I'm stunned, actually.
Wow.
Stunned silence. Yeah, everybody shirts off.
Yay.
Sorry, I got knocked out of the comments section for a minute. So,
Oh, I thought you were going to say you got knocked up. I was like, damn.
hey, if I could get knocked up, I would never have to work a day in my life again.
No kidding.
So
You
tonight's movies are the best of 2023, and all I've got to say is I think they could have done better.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
2023 movies were just kind of meh, I thought. I mean,
Oh, I
they
thought
were
you meant this group of 2022 movies. 'Cause
Oh.
I thought we did okay with these.
better ones, but 2023 overall, there wasn't a lot of movies that were just outstanding.
I
At
agree.
least in my opinion, I'm up for debate. Anyone want to die on the hill?
No,
You're right.
23 was bad for movies. There was only a handful of movies that I saw that were really good, but I don't remember any gigantic blockbusters, other than like Barbie,
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc Fred.
Good day, Doc. Yeah, I'm with you, Scott. This year I had when Hadley brought it up, I just had a hard time dragging something out. I like last year was, man, you say 2022, it's like, oh, Bullet Train, that was mine. This year I was like, man, I just could not get it.
Hey, Landa.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Linda.
No, you're
Hey,
right, Alan.
But,
It was
I mean,
the same thing.
do you guys all feel the same way? That it
Yeah.
was just kind of
Excuse me. I mean, there were some good movies. I don't know about excellent movies, but there were some pretty good ones, and we did them all. That was the thing. We either talked about or did the films on the show. So it got really difficult towards the end, and I think all of us had a film that came out in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan. Hey, Mike Lewis. And hey, Craig.
Hi,
Hey,
Alan.
Fred.
Craig.
Wilson is saying hi in the background.
Oh, I thought
You
that
have
was
to go
Fred.
on mute. Out of the 4 we picked today, I thought 3 of them were really good. One of them, it was just like, when will this end? Because I've already seen Star Wars and the Magnificent Seven. So,
Yeah. Right.
wow.
well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you guys, I got a movie for a bad movie pick. It's free on Amazon Prime. Zombies: The Beginning. It is literally, they took the script from Aliens and just redid the movie with zombies. I mean, the dialogue is identical in some scenes.
Well, Scott, that's the guy that made Zombie back in the 70s.
Oh,
I can't remember his name, but he's
Fulci?
big.
Yes.
Fulci,
I
yeah.
almost said Fermi
It's a
because of
Fulci
my
movie.
movie.
Oh, I didn't know Fulci did that. It's pretty good for a Fulci
It's
movie.
either Fulci either Fulci or it's one of those guys that was mixed up
Yeah.
in those in the 70s.
But
You know,
not Fauci.
he's one of those guys.
Not Fauci.
No,
Not
God,
Fauci, no.
he
Not
caused
Fauci.
zombie apocalypse.
We know he's a zombie
I
anyway.
need to make sure.
The lizard person.
Hey,
Yeah.
Frank says hi.
Greg actually messaged me today and said, "Hey, we should do Zombievers," and I told him, "Well, we did that a couple years ago." But
we
you
could
know, that's
do
one of
it
those
again.
movies. I may end up here again someday, somewhere, some form. So do we want to start then?
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
Go first. You, Alan, you want to go first with your movie?
I'll go first. My movie is Rebel Moon by Zack Snyder, and I just picked this one because I had just seen it, and to me, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's my type of movie. So, and I really had a hard time this year because we've done movies that we liked, some of the good ones that came out this year, but I just felt this year was kind of meh, you know. I'll give my opinions on all your guys' movies here, but well, except for Scott's because I didn't get out to see Godzilla yet. It better be good, Scott,
It's good.
because I'll rent that one anyway. Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's take on Star Wars and of course Magnificent Seven mashup, and I love the Magnificent Seven, and there's a ton of those movies out there that take that Seven Samurai. Well, actually, Seven Samurai, I guess. And they use that, and I love that Battle Beyond the Stars with Richard Thomas back in the early '80s. Did that Roger Corman film? I think we reviewed that here. Anyway, this one had a lot of cool special effects, a lot of cool aliens, a lot of cool worlds. The set pieces I thought were great. You know, it was a mashup, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. It wasn't a great movie, but it was fun. I'm looking forward to the second half. Basically, the rebels are these farmers on this planet, and there's the Empire, and they come in and they want the grain from these people, and they inflict damage on a revered member. Which the guy that played the father on it was the guy from the series The Strain. The main guy that I can't think of his name. He's in everything. He's in Billions. Yeah, I can't
Corey,
think of
his name is Corey.
Corey. Well, anyway, he's in a lot of stuff. They end up killing him, and then that sets into motion this one female she's been living there for a while, and she was a soldier for the Empire. And in fact, she was the king's daughter's bodyguard. And the king had been assassinated, and she was there. It was her fault. She left, and the Empire's been looking for her too. I can't remember the guy that plays the Empire officer, but he does a great job.
Ed Screen.
Yes,
his name is.
He was in Midway.
Awesome.
Yes, he plays a bad guy a lot.
Yeah,
he was in Midway and that John Cameron movie where the girl's a robot or an android or whatever.
Deadpool. Come on,
which one?
Deadpool. He's in Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool, yeah. Deadpool, he gets his ass handed from the Deadpool. Yeah, so he's great. He plays a good bad guy. And she and Ed, what's his name? Charlie Hunnam is one of the. You think he's one of the Magnificent Seven? Joins up with her, and there's a dude from Game of Thrones. I can't think of his name. In World War Z, he joins. He's kind of cowardly, but not really. And they get together, and they're going to fight the Empire. And there's a big battle and stuff among these people that are gathered. And then it cuts to there's going to be part 2 coming up here soon. This movie's got a lot of heat, and they're like, the men are cowardly and all. But there's a guy that saves everybody at the end. And who doesn't love a female badass, right? I mean, really, who cares? The aliens are great. A lot of the dialogue's not original or really, that great. But it's a popcorn movie. And what a way to end the year with this popcorn movie. So, what do y'all think?
I was looking forward to this movie all year long. And I can't say enough. I loved it. Yeah, it wasn't, the dialogue wasn't fresh. The dialogue was the thing that held it back for me. But everything else I loved. I love that she was an uber badass. I love that if there was a message, it wasn't hit me in the head. And I just love the action. I love seeing this. It was a lot of fun, Alan. And I know I've seen people just tear it apart, but I enjoyed it. And it kind of was reminiscent of when I was little and we'd go to the movies and we'd see these big films with the effects like this and how otherworldly it did seem. And while the Charlie Hunnam character, it's like his dialogue just felt flat and it didn't really push it. I wasn't sold by him. I didn't believe that he was a good guy, but I didn't understand what it was he was going to do. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see him being that despicable. But I didn't see him being a Lando Calrissian for sure. But I enjoyed it. So I'm going to have to go against the grain and say that it was a good flick and I liked watching it.
All right.
I have two superhero powers. One of those superhero powers is knowing when they use fake dinosaurs in movies. The other one is being able to step outside of a movie that I see hate coming at. Like World War Z was a movie that I saw all kinds of hate, and I'm like, dude, it's zombies. I got to go see this movie. I did the same with this movie. I watched it with a good friend of mine, and honestly, I really liked it. I put the hate aside that I had seen, and I had seen a lot of hate. You know, you go on Facebook and they're tearing it apart, saying, "Oh, you tried to rip off, this, Magnificent Seven, Star Wars, Avatar, Lord of the Rings." Trying to rip them all off, and I was like, I mean, yeah, he is, but move past it and tell me the movie sucked, because it didn't. It was a good flick. I enjoyed it. It was really, I thought it was quite well done, if a bit stolen. Excuse me, but like Hadley said, I saw the Charlie Hunnam thing 1,000 miles away. I mean, that was just telegraphed. They could have done that a little better. They could have led into how, he can't be a bad guy because, and it was just easy to see. But to me, the best sell in this whole movie was Ed Skrein. Excuse me, the bad guy. He's like the head Empire bad guy. He's on this big destroyer ship. That's a typical Star Wars ripoff. I want to see Ed Skrein play Dracula. I think he would be a fantastic Dracula, but I want to see it as a comedy, and I think he would just crush it. But this film, it's got a lot in it. It's got a Jesus Christ character. It's got your poor downtrodden character. It's got the Han Solo character. It's got everybody, and then you can move into Avatar. It's got the Jake Sully character, and it's got the Quaritch character. It's just, it does rip off a lot, but if you can move past that and say, wow, it's actually not a bad movie, because it wasn't a bad movie, then you'll enjoy yourself. So I would recommend this film, and I liked it. Scott?
I agree with you. Ed Skrein was the perfect, except for that haircut. I always expected him to poke somebody in the eyes, but he was a great bad guy. The movie's got fantastic special effects, fantastic fight scenes. I just could not get past, they show up at a cantina to start looking for the other people. I was waiting for Han Solo to shoot somebody in the corner, or the scene when she's dangling off the floating satellite. And he walks up to. I was expecting her to go, "I am your father." It bothered me because it was Zack Snyder. He is a genius at. Oh, we got Godzilla versus King Kong in the corner behind us. He's a genius at making new movies. This one it was almost as if he just phoned it in. Here, take these two movies, write a script, we'll get back. But yes, it was good. It was very action oriented. I am going to go watch the second one. I want to see what happens. Hey, buddy.
Hey, pal.
Hey.
Hey.
You know, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just I was a little taken aback by, you know, all the rip-offs and just how it so closely followed the other two movies. So, but still, I will give it a 4.25.
Oh,
Wow.
I thought you were
I
actually.
mean, they made you hate.
Huh?
Oh, go ahead, Rich.
I thought Scott was going to hate it. I really did.
Me too.
Yeah.
They really made you hate that company that was left behind on the planet. You know,
Yeah.
You wanted to see those guys get their comeuppance, and they did. There's nothing to like about them. But,
Hey, Tony Kane
What'd
is
you
in
give
the
it,
house,
Rich?
by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it. Hey, Tony. Mike Lewis. Damn. So who's next?
well, what do you guys give it? I know Scott gave it a 4. Would you?
4.25. I'll give it a 4. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to watch the second one.
Right. Me too.
Boss?
Hallie?
Solid 4. It was. I was disappointed it wasn't better, but not because I was disappointed in the movie. I just, you know, I had epic hopes for it.
You
But,
expected more from Zack Snyder.
yeah, I did, but I wasn't disappointed in the movie or anything. It was, I thought it was going to be a series, so I was expecting it to be, you know, like 6 episodes, and that's probably what I was more disappointed about because I was thinking, oh great, we're going to have a couple of nights of watching this, but no.
Yeah, I get that. I'm going to give it a solid 4. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the second part, especially for all the hate it got on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, it really got a lot of hate. It just crazy hate. But I guess it got a high ratings on Netflix, so it was really highly rated. People love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, original or not.
Sci-fi. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And it had a great bad guy, which made it.
Yeah. Ed Screen was definitely he was the best actor in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, who we got? Who's next?
I'll go next. All right. I picked Godzilla -1. Now, before any of you say, oh, gee, he's a Godzilla fan, this movie was brilliantly done. I was surprised at how good it is. Brief overview begins in April or May 1945. The war is coming to an end, and the main star, his character's name is Koichi Shikishima. He's a kamikaze pilot who wimped out, couldn't crash his plane, lands on Oda Island. Oda Island, as the Godzilla fans know, was the name of the island from the first one. The guys in the island kind of think something happened because there's no engine problems like he claimed. All of a sudden, this giant dinosaur, looks like a T-Rex on steroids, comes ashore, starts attacking them. He could kill it. He jumps in the plane and is waiting for it to cross his path where he could hit it with the machine guns, and he doesn't. He's afraid of attracting attention. So it goes berserk, kills everybody else. He's the only one who lives because he didn't do anything. Jump ahead another 7 or 8 months. It's 1945. The war is over. He comes back to Tokyo. Tokyo is an absolute mess. I mean, we firebombed it in March 1945. We leveled most of the city. And he's trying to build back up. He takes the rubble from his old home. He builds this makeshift shed that's barely survivable. This woman comes along. Noriko Oishi is her character's name. And she moves in with her little girl. And he's like, he doesn't want her there, but he's not going to throw a girl and her little girl out. And for a good portion of the movie, it deals with him dealing with the fear, the fact that he's lost so much face being a failed kamikaze pilot, and he makes friends with all these other people, guys from the war, from other units, one guy that's a bit of a scientist. And then, as you could imagine, the T-Rex on Oda Island was in the path of the fallout from Hiroshima, and Godzilla comes back, and he's just, when you're at 0 and Godzilla shows up, it's 0 minus 1. And at the end of the movie, he and his buddies are the ones that have to destroy it. And the only way they can destroy it is if somebody crashes a plane into its, and I'm not giving away anything, if somebody crashes a plane into its mouth, because the only thing on Godzilla, I mean, you could take a chunk out of him and it grows back. That's the one unique thing. So he has to fulfill his duty that he didn't fulfill in the war. The movie is good because they spend as much time developing the characters as they do Godzilla. This isn't like all the other movies in between. This is more like the original, where they really develop the relationship between the naval captain, the girlfriend, and Serizawa. So you felt for them. Same thing happens here. You get to feel for these characters. And if anything happens to them, you really feel bad about it. And it's been getting a lot of praise for that reason. People who are not big Godzilla fans love this movie. The special effects are absolutely phenomenal. They're up for an Academy Award. That's how good they are. Plenty of action. It's not one of those movies where, you see Godzilla for 10 minutes throughout the movie. There's a couple of things in it that are just sort of like you got to suspend disbelief. But it is the second best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. And I went with, family members, some of whom don't even really like Godzilla, who fell in love with this movie. So I really highly recommend it. It's not your average kaiju movie. This is one that's actually very, very well done.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man, but none of the rest of us have seen it, so you got another 8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it, honestly. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I mean, yes, when he comes on the screen and, the fins start lighting up one at a time and you know what's going to happen, geeks like me and my nephew was sitting there going, but it is very, very well done. And like I said, the Academy, it's up for a Academy Awards for special effects. And to give you an idea, this movie was made on a budget of $15 million. $15 million, which when you look at the special effects in that, the devastation of Tokyo and that's really cheap. It made a little over $11 million on the weekend it opened in the United States. And the movie's only been out a little over a month. It's already made over $85 million.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So, yeah, I mean, this movie they are making a English dubbed version, and they're also going to make a...
Sorry, Scott. Okay.
And they're also going to redo it in black and white. So it'll be more of a homage to the original Godzilla movie. So. But
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I do highly recommend it. That's the reason I picked it. It was because it was a good movie with Godzilla in it. It wasn't a Godzilla movie with human actors in it. So I was not going to say that, Craig, but I was thinking that. I was definitely thinking that. other than that, I mean, there's not a lot I can say about it without giving away the plot. The visual effects of Tokyo in the first few months after the war was stunningly realistic, and so what the acting was good. It was very good. It wasn't like your typical kaiju movie, where they throw in an 8-year-old kid and a bunch of guys with bad haircuts and some woman who's very who's dressed very nicely but has the IQ of a squid. It really was well acted as well as special effects. So.
Does it have Blue Oyster Cult on the soundtrack?
No, it didn't. But they do pay homage to the original because they use the same Godzilla voice. The scream he makes, it's the exact same one. And if you are a big fan of the original Gojira, you'll see a lot of scenes that were just updated and refilmed for this movie. So it was, my nephew is a huge Godzilla fan. He knows more about Godzilla than I do, and he loved this movie. Yes, I think, yes, Craig, they did. They just changed like the instruments that played it, but they used the same Ikifubi score. So, yeah, this is definitely a good movie to watch. Period, whether you're a Godzilla fan or not.
Nice.
I kind of can't wait.
What would you rate it, Scott?
This one I give a 5, easily.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it when it comes out. I haven't heard a single negative review about it.
No.
Excuse me. Everybody says that it's great. The special effects are excellent. The story's really good. I didn't know that it was only a $15 million movie. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought that it was going to be one of those huge Japanese productions, because it's the newest Godzilla movie.
Is it dubbed?
No, it isn't. It's still in the original Japanese with subtitles. But it's still, that makes it worth it. It still makes it worth it, even if you got to do some reading.
Sounds like it's a winner. I'm definitely going to see it when it gets released on digital release.
Yeah. Mike, if I had to keep Fred in a baby carrier, I'd have to either feed him treats for an hour or he'd tear me to shreds like a velociraptor.
Yeah. Well, let's have Hadley go next.
Okay, well,
Hadley?
my movie was Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a film with super spy Orson Fortune, played by Jason Statham, and he's tracking down and stopping the deadly new weapons technology. I like this movie. The billionaire arms broker was my favorite part of this movie. It was played by Hugh Jackman. And if you have not seen Hugh Jackman, Hugh Grant.
There it is.
Sorry, Hugh Grant. If you have not seen Hugh Grant in a film by Guy Ritchie, you have not seen the real Hugh Grant. He stole the show. But this movie had him and Aubrey Plaza was in it, Carrie Yules, from The Princess Bride, and a guy named Bugsy Malone, who I just love his name. And it was really a kind of an unexpected fun find for me. I love Guy Ritchie films, and I won't say this is his best work, but it was a fun watch. And Guy Ritchie and Jason Statham have a kind of relationship much like Quentin Tarantino and John Travolta. They just really bring out the best in each other, I think, when they're working together. And, again, it was just great watching it. So in the movie, awesome spy Jason Statham being Jason Statham, and his crew recruit this Hollywood heartthrob Danny Francesco, played by Josh Hartnett, who, boy, did he come out of the sideways with this. I haven't seen Josh Hartnett in a good role in a while, and so he just kind of nailed it. He was so good in it. It was fun, and I just kind of walked away with it having a good place in my heart, and I just loved it. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details. It's a new release. It's available right now on Stars if you have it. So you can get a free subscription for a week and then turn it off. Loved it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And it's always fun to find a Guy Ritchie movie. So it was no snatch. You know I was going to say it. So there it is. It was no snatch, but it was a good movie.
Hey, Hallie, speaking of no snatch, Tony and Craig, one thinks you're in the bathroom, the other one thinks you're in a submarine. No, they both think you're in the bathroom or a bathtub. I think you're in a submarine somewhere.
No, I'm on my desk.
Are you underground?
At the office, and my headset's at the office, and I am on my big desktop. So sorry, guys, y'all can't hear me.
You sound better right there. So don't
move.
I'm a big Guy Ritchie fan. Love his movies. This to me was not his best, but you said that it wasn't his best, but you really liked it. I think watch The Gentleman and then watch this one.
I think I may
watch his face. Hugh Grant.
Well, Hugh Grant in Guy Ritchie films has a gritty, dirty, perverted uncle feel, and I kind of think that's probably who he really is deep down. But I grew up watching him in all these romantic period movies, so it was nice to see him and he kind of, I don't know. He's like he got a different accent in it.
Yeah. Well, what I think lowers this movie down a little bit, and I know I'm going to get some heat for this. If you think I'm going to say what I'm saying, because I'm going to get some heat from this Aubrey Plaza. She kind of, she's great, snarky and all that. But in this, her character seems to be out of place a little bit. I don't think she has the camaraderie or the what do you call it, rapport, like some of the other characters do. And to me, that kind of brought it down. I like Aubrey Plaza. I like seeing her and stuff.
But she's like a Wednesday Addams type.
Yeah, but I don't think she worked in this movie in her character. So to me, that kind of.
I'm going to disagree with you because.
No, you can't.
No disagreeing.
No, because I think she did very well because she didn't like Jason Statham. She was always bad-mouthing him and slapping him down. I thought she did really well as just being that, the woman who's running this, go this way, go that way, do this, just put him in his place. I thought she was great.
I'm going to have to throw in my 2 cents worth here. I felt like it started off cold, but I warmed up to her as the movie went on. But I understood what you're saying.
I'm behind Hadley on this. While you're throwing your punches, I got Hadley in front of me on this. Because I think I kind of agree with Hadley. It took me about halfway through the movie, then I started digging her character.
Well, some of this movie
at the beginning.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Some of this movie, it just seemed like someone threw him out of a parachute and said, "Fix it on your way down." And they just didn't seem like they had a script in some spots. Because I think there was one scene where she's shooting a gun and the gun was not even stable. It was, obviously she didn't have someone telling her how to shoot the gun.
Yeah, that annoyed the hell out of me, actually.
Yeah.
But this wasn't an over-the-top, blockbuster movie. This was just kind of campy and fun. And really, let's look at Guy Ritchie. Y'all know, I have my feelings about Guy Ritchie and the whole King Arthur. That's and I haven't seen Aladdin, but it's because I refuse to watch it. You
I didn't
know,
know he did that.
those are two that he did, and I was not very happy about some of the choices that he made. So it was good to me, first off, to see Jason Statham back in a role that he really had his teeth into it. You know, he's done some crazy choices lately too. Um, I like him as that snarky operator, you know, but there's still some humor there. It was, I guess it's kind of like the same character he played in Snatch. I'm going to say that as many times as I can, by the way.
Well, you know, Hadley, he's a fun actor to watch. Snatch. Excuse me.
Well, he is, and he's really funny. And that kind of brought, and it's that kind of, and I don't know my words, so I'm sorry. He's funny being the straight guy being funny. You know, he has fun with himself, and I just really enjoyed him in that role. I hated that movie he did with Melissa McCarthy, and this kind of redeemed him for me.
Oh my God.
That was hilarious.
That was his best role.
God.
That was hilarious.
I knew case officers that were like that. That's what broke me up. It's like he's making it. I'll cut my arm off. I'll chew my arm off. And it's like, oh, yeah, Jesus, I worked with him.
Oh, man.
But yeah, he was. I love him when he's in a movie like this, where he's just that so bloody James Bond cool that it's got a comical tinge to it.
Well, my introduction to Jason Statham was not Snatch; it was The Transporter. And
okay, yeah.
So I like seeing him in those kind of roles. But I mean, I love him in Snatch too. Don't get me wrong. See, is anybody counting how many times I said it yet? So
do we have a Snatch counter out there?
I got a Snatch counter. Come on.
If Ash was here, he'd be counting snatches.
But I really think that it was fun. It was fun for me, and it was fun. It was a Guy Ritchie fun movie. It wasn't. I think they had a good time making it, and I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a fun watch from the last 2 weeks of the year.
Looks like Rich has something to say.
As previously mentioned, this is no Snatch. I think that movie with Melissa McCarthy, I hate that movie. I'm not a crazy Melissa McCarthy fan. Excuse me. I thought Jason Statham did a good job in that movie. But I think there's two Jason Stathams. I think there's the Snatch Jason Statham, and I think there's this movie Jason Statham. And this movie just didn't do it for me. I mean, he's the same character when he does this type of movie in that whole thing. That's the one Jason Statham. And then there's the other, the good actor, the funny guy, the badass, high kicks, But this movie, it was slow. It was slow is the wrong word. It was non-captivating.
Let's watch Oppenheimer.
What?
Yes, the slowest movie ever, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, we're talking about your movie.
Wait. We're gonna we'll get
to that. Yeah. So I didn't hate this movie, but it is definitely not a movie I'm going to watch again. As are most of the Jason Statham movies. There was one he did with Jessica Alba. It was pretty good. And he did the
Mechanic.
The reboot of the of the Mechanic, which I thought that was pretty good. Snatch is one of my favorite all-time movies. I think that everything about that movie is great, and I just wish he could. I think he was kind of hobbled when he did this movie, and he couldn't do what he needed to do. And to me, this was a movie. He was like, "Yeah, just pay me, and I'm gonna go sit over there." Again, this is not a movie that I'm ever going to want to see again. I don't want you to think I hated it, because I didn't, but it was just, there was something wrong with it. and I don't know that it was Aubrey Plaza. I didn't hate her in this. I didn't like her that much. Bugsy Malone, excuse me. Bugsy Malone was all right. I liked his character probably the best. But Hugh Grant, unbeatable in this film. If they had made this about Hugh Grant and Jason Statham was a minor character, this would have been 1,000 times better. He crushed it. He played that. You can tell he's a psychopath, but at the same time, he's a really nice guy. You want to know that he could just say, "Yeah, kill that guy," and that guy's dead. But at the same time, he might want to give that guy $50,000 in a bouquet of flowers. So he just crushed it. But I think I'm going to give this movie 3.5, just because it didn't hit all the notes that I wanted it to hit.
You know, I'll give that too, because like you said, I enjoyed it. It wasn't, huh?
Fred.
Oh, sorry, Scott.
Thanks, guys. That's
Sorry,
all right.
sorry, man. Go for it. Oh yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
All right. Fred, go
I can
lay
hear
down.
Fred.
Go lay down. I liked it. My favorite scene. Well, Fred, please. My favorite scene was when they were meeting with the Ukrainians, and Hugh Grant had that whole plan to scare you. Hit mute for a minute, Hadley. I'll give this movie a 3.75. Fred, gotta go lay down. Come on.
What about you, Hadley?
I think that a 3.75 is perfect for this movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't. I mean, it again was no secret, but it was a fun movie to watch when in a year when there was not many good movies.
Yeah. I'll give it a 3. Like Rich said, there's just something missing from it. Go ahead, Scott.
No, I mean, I agree with all of you guys. It wasn't as good as the other Guy Ritchie movies. I don't know if there was too many characters. If at some points it was getting very confusing. I loved Hugh Grant. I loved Carrie Elwes' character, and I loved Josh Hartnett. I mean, he was a riot. You know. I love this when he says, "I'm doing the best role ever. I get to play myself," and all I could think of was that Nick Cage movie.
That's a good flick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good, but like I said, the best scene was when Josh Hartnett and Hugh Grant were doing the shakedown on the two Ukrainians. I loved that scene. I could watch that scene over again.
I love the end when Josh Hartnett is playing a role based off of the Hugh Grant character, and he has his hair all done, and they're dating. That's
God, yes.
So I thought it was fun. I'm sorry that y'all did not like it as much as I did, but I did.
You hate it?
It was a fun movie, but like Rebel Moon, I expected more from Guy Ritchie, like I did from Zack Snyder.
Guy Ritchie seems to be trying to find himself. The Covenant was another movie that he did recently that it was not his normal sharpness. And I haven't seen the last one that he made with Jason Statham, but I've heard that it's really good.
Well, you got to watch The Gentleman he did with Hugh Grant and McConaughey.
But there's
Charlie
one.
Luna.
What is it? Hold on, let me.
I thought The Covenant was great.
Because The Gentleman was really good. That was him.
Yeah,
That was him all the way. It was Snatch. It was Lock, Stock.
Wrath
You're
of
right,
Man. I have not seen that.
Which one?
Which one?
Wrath of Man.
Yeah, it was okay. It was kind of. I think that was a little better than this one. Again, it was that Jason Statham that he was kind of in the middle on this one as opposed to this movie versus Snatch.
Well, it was a 20 movie. I haven't seen it yet. I want to watch it. I want to watch Revolver. It's another one I haven't seen.
Revolver's great.
So, but I mean, like I said, Guy Ritchie for me, just like I said, the last couple of movies I've seen that he's done, they don't seem to have that magic. Somebody said
Watch
something
The Gentleman.
earlier. It's not one of
Watch
his
The
recent
Gentleman.
ones, though, Alan. I've seen it.
It is.
It's
Oh yeah, you've seen it?
yeah, it's a couple of years old.
Yeah, it's a couple years. You're right. You're right.
What year did
Wrath of Man's pretty good.
someone Google that for
Wrath of
me?
Man.
Find out when it came out. When The
Yeah.
Gentleman came out.
Yeah,
Hang on.
no problem. We'll see who's the speed Googler.
You are.
That's what my wife says.
It used to be rich, but I guess he likes it when mom and dad fight.
No,
No, that ain't it. That's a Korean movie.
2019. Yeah, so it's been it's a few years old.
I mean,
2019.
yeah, we watched it, didn't we?
The Gentleman?
I mean that
I don't know
movie.
if we did it, but I've seen it for sure.
But
It's his storytelling, It's
but yeah, he seemed to have lost something in the last couple of years. Maybe 2020 was hard on him, like the rest of the world.
could have
Well,
been.
Colin Farrell's in that movie as the coach, right? Is that the movie with Colin Farrell? He plays the coach of the
Yes.
Boston coach.
Yes.
He stole that film. That was
Yeah,
all
Colin Farrell did. Yeah.
He was great. I
Yeah.
love that. That was a good flick.
That's a good flick. If you haven't seen it, The Gentleman, check it out, folks. Watch it with subtitles too, because they don't speak American English.
Yeah.
And Doc, I wanted to address this. We did John Wick earlier in the year when it came out, because we're all John Wick files here.
I
We
have
should
not
do
seen,
Thanksgiving. You're right.
now, I've not seen Thanksgiving yet. I want to see that one.
Yeah.
I love Eli Roth
That-
movies.
Yeah. So we should get to that. Well, here's the blockbuster movie is on Rich.
Yeah. So Oppenheimer was my 2023 pick for favorite movies, except it wasn't. What I said in the chat to my fellow miscreants was the only film I haven't seen in 2023 that we haven't done or at least talked about is, on the show is Oppenheimer. Suddenly Oppenheimer was my list, listed as my pick. Like, fine, I'll do Oppenheimer. Okay. I'm very glad I did. This film, directed by Christopher Nolan, tracks the life of Robert J. Oppenheimer. Robert J? Is it Robert J? Yeah. Through his fake communism to his attempts at unionizing to being hired by the government, specifically the U.S. Army, to his instrumental oversight of the construction of the first deployable atomic bomb, and his subsequent attempted crucifixion by Louis Strauss of the Atomic Energy Commission. Starring Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Josh Hartnett, Florence Pugh, Matt Damon, Kenneth Branagh, Rami Malek, Casey Affleck. I mean, the list goes on. More or less everybody is in this movie. The film was historically accurate, at least as far as I've been taught. Oppenheimer almost joins the Communist Party. His wife actually did before meeting him. The scientists he knew, Einstein, Bohr, Fermi, Heisenberg, just to name a few, Los Alamos, which is the town the Army built for the Manhattan Project. Each was explored, and each fit the film perfectly. Honestly, I thought this film was going to be another one of those boring essays on why atomic weapons are bad. And it started off with these fire special effects that looked like the film was going to be one of those, excuse me, that I had to put on my thinking cap to understand. But as a science nerd, I found the geek stuff positively captivating. And as someone who, distrusts government anyway, the portrayal of the railroading and the kangaroo not court that poor, Julius Robert had to endure just to smear his name and revoke his top secret clearance was really well done. It pissed me off and it made me feel bad for a guy who designed a weapon of mass destruction. I absolutely loved the nods to the famous scientists, and I love the theoretical and eventual proven physics. Even winning the race against the Nazis for the atomic superiority was well done. Oppenheimer was torn between wanting to make the bomb and the realization that it might not be the deterrent he wanted it to be. And Murphy crushed the role of a man torn between arrogance and self-loathing. His campaign to end atomic proliferation, which is one of the reasons that the government wanted him disgraced, was also depicted very, very well. And we can't forget Robert Downey Jr. as Rear Admiral Louis Strauss, Kenneth Branagh as Niels Bohr, and Emily Blunt as Kitty Oppenheimer, a woman who hated the fact that her husband wouldn't stick up for himself. And then Florence Pugh, she puts on an excellent performance as a mostly crazy, sometimes naked, and Communist Party member love interest of Oppenheimer. The film was released at the same time as the Barbie movie was, and it was suggested that folks go see the films as a double feature called Barbenheimer, which I remember hearing that. This movie is the third highest grossing film of 2023, raking in close to $1 billion worldwide, which I thought was crazy considering what it was. It's the highest grossing World War II film of all time, and the highest grossing biographical film, and the second highest grossing R-rated film. Who in the chat can tell me what the highest grossing film was? You have 10 seconds. Highest grossing
Jaws?
R-rated film.
Jaws?
Come on. Somebody say something.
Godfather.
No, that's what I thought. It was The Joker. Really?
Oh,
The
Deadpool
joke.
2 was up there, and it's to me, Deadpool 2 is way better than The Joker. I actually highly recommend this film, and I'd love to know what my fellow miscreant reviewers think.
Let me say something before I forget. Let me say something before I forget, Scott, because I will forget this.
Right.
You know me. This movie had a ton of actors in it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just dying to be in this. From Rami Malek to the guy that played Han Solo in the
Yeah.
reboot.
Yeah.
To Baby Driver. Casey Affleck, I think, did the best job of acting in this movie. He made you feel that this guy would take Oppenheimer up in a helicopter and throw him out.
Yeah.
I mean, we were watching that, and I turned to Tina and I said, he creeped me out in this part. He gave me the chills. I thought, if I was a communist, he would throw me out.
Was he the
what?
FBI officer interrogating him?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
the guy.
No, he was head of security.
Boris.
Los Alamos,
Oh,
right? And he's the one that, Oppenheimer went in there thinking, I'll give this guy up, but I don't want to give my friend up. And he's like, well, who, and you're like, man, this guy can't wait to just, get you out, take you to the train station. But I thought that was the best bit of acting in that whole movie. And there's a lot of great acting in that movie.
Yeah.
God, go ahead. I'm sorry. I would have forgot that.
No. This movie meant a lot to me because when I was at Tufts, I had a class on nuclear America with Martin Sherwin, who wrote the book that this movie was based on. And we had long discussions in class about Oppenheimer. And when I saw this movie, I went in expecting a nightmare like Pearl Harbor. This movie was so accurate, so well done. It covered all of the issues of the time without a political leaning. You didn't get slapped on the head from the left or the right. The one scene that I'll show you how good the movie was. Remember the scene when he meets Truman and Truman says as he leaves, I don't want to see that pussy in the White House again.
Yeah.
I thought that was bullshit.
Hey, language.
No,
it actually happened. That's what Truman said about Oppenheimer. And I mean, everything about it. Plus, they didn't concentrate at all. You never saw the nuclear explosion at White Sands, at Trinity Site. The best part for me, I mean, everything about it. Matt Damon made a great General Groves. But the guy who stole the show, who you despised so much, was Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, he was despicable. And they portrayed him so accurately. It was great. I love this movie. It is my favorite movie of 2023. And it's probably one of my favorite and most accurate history movies ever.
Hadley.
Oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep, much like I did watching Oppenheimer. It was the slowest movie I don't know what happened because I literally fell asleep.
We won the war.
It
There was
was
a big boom and a couple of them in Japan.
knitting socks, people. If you are not into science, if you're not into nerdy stuff, and I'm into nerdy stuff, it did not catch me. I cannot recommend it. I would say that if Barbie and Oppenheimer were the top movies of 2023, that's all you need to know. These are the Academy Award nominees here, and I'm stopping.
I'm the guy that picked Rebel Moon, and I love this movie. The thing is we started watching it. Tina really didn't want to watch it because she thought it'd be pretty boring, and so we watched about an hour of it, and then we stopped, took a break. She's like, "Hey, can we take a break?" I'm like, "Yeah." Then we came back and watched the rest of it, and I think that's the way you got to watch it sometimes. But it's really not that. It doesn't feel that. I mean, if I watched this in the movie theater, it'd probably drive me nuts. But the acting in it, there's so, and if you like actors, which I'm not saying worship them or anything, but appreciate actors, this is a movie to watch because you'll say, "Hey, oh yeah, that guy was driving the school bus in Aliens 5."
Yeah.
I mean, it just had so many people in it, and I don't think there was any bad acting in this flick.
No, there wasn't. That was the thing. Everybody was spot on for the historical character they played.
Yeah. I mean,
When
yeah,
Einstein
the award
walked
winner
past
last year
Stars-
holding a
I
clipboard.
agree with everything y'all are saying. It was a snooze fest. Literally, a
It's
snooze.
not an action movie. It's
No.
definitely a
No.
drama.
I like period movies. I like war movies. I like actors, as Alan says. This movie did not catch me in the right place.
Would Mark Wahlberg shirtless at that hearing? Would that keep you watching
No,
it?
Mike does not have any idea what kind of men I find attractive because he puts in people I don't actually find attractive. Was Mark Wahlberg?
Okay, Remy Malik shirtless in that hearing.
Who's Remy Malik? I don't even know who that is.
He played Freddie Mercury in Queen.
Uh-oh.
Oh
In that
no,
Queen movie.
no.
Who played the FBI agent that was interrogating Oppenheimer in the room?
Oh, he's been around. He usually plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
But
I can't think of his name. But God, he was almost as despicable as Robert Downey Jr. And
Is that the one in the hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the hearing, when he was interrogating him in the room.
his name is Rob. Something Rob.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, he just struck a tone with me because I knew guys like that. And the whole, they captured so well the whole paranoia of that era.
Yeah, they did.
Jason
was kinda
Clark is
naive.
his name.
Yes.
Who?
Yeah.
Who is it, Rich?
His name is Jason Clark.
Yeah. He
Oh
was,
yeah.
Yeah, he played
He was in-
Roderick in a movie. He was one of the he was in one of the Terminator films.
He played John Connor, right?
Yes.
One of the Terminator movies. Yeah. He usually plays in action movies. White House Down, I think he was a head bad guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And he was great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and a lot of these actors look like they put on weight for these roles too. Guys that you usually see are
Look
thinner.
at Judy. Look at you, 70 years old. It was great.
Yeah, right.
they
And
made
Josh Hartnett was great. He was subdued.
they made Robert Downey look so much like him. It took me 5 minutes to finally recognize him because of his voice.
Well, the only thing about Robert Downey Jr. is his movements were still the same. He was still moving like Robert Downey Jr. Like Stark. He had the same kind of body movements, but his acting was just great.
Matthew Modine, another guy, was in it. Matthew Modine was in it. Do you remember Scott Grimes? He had a bit part in it. He was in.
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. Yep. He was in it just for a bit, like Han Solo, the guy that played Han Solo. His little bit part, but great parts. Very well acted.
I give this movie
like
a plus.
Would you give it?
5+.
Nice. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I really loved this movie. I thought it was good.
I'll give it a 4. A solid 4. I thought it was good. You know, it really was.
Hadley.
Christopher Nolan to me is kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm standing alone on this island with a 2.
At least you gave it a 2.
Yeah. Could have been worse.
It's because you're in that.
She's that one person. She's the one person that brings your Facebook book rating down with the 1-star review.
I gave 2. I don't usually give 1.
Oh, one of the people we forgot is Matthias Schweighöfer. Do you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was in Army of the Dead. He played the what do you call it? The
safecracker.
Safecracker. He plays Heisenberg. So,
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh as Niels Bohr. Yeah, I like this movie. I think I may actually watch this movie again.
I will at some point, but I need 3 hours to do it.
Has anyone in the comment section seen this movie besides the guys?
I don't. No one's been commented on that it was a good movie or not. They're all talking about Man Meat and Iron Man's underwear.
And they're dissing on Pearl Harbor. Yes, that movie sucked.
Apparently, I'm trying to find myself. Yeah.
Doc did.
I bet Doc liked it. So.
What'd you think, Doc?
Those smart people like it. Country folks like me weren't into it.
Hey, I picked Rebel Moon as the best movie this year. I'm no rocket scientist, but I love this. Well, but I think it was the acting. Really, I'm the nerd that, that's the guy that's driving the taxi in Godzilla 27, that's me. So I was busy picking out actors too,
I think the best movie of 2023 was Oppenheimer. My favorite movie of 2023 was Godzilla -1.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doc gave it a 3.9. So.
Nice, Doc.
I love you too, Landa.
And Landa said she gave it an 8.
He did not. Tony's with me. He thinks he'd fall asleep. I did fall asleep, Tony.
Landa's a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, I love Spy. That's one of my favorite comedy espionage movies.
Yeah, when she goes off on that Swedish guy or whatever. Oh, that's freaking hilarious.
Oh my God, that Jason Statham, that attitude he has is hilarious. But like I said, I knew guys like that.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, Dick Miller is great. You guys know who Dick Miller is, right?
Yes.
He's in a lot of Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Weapons to the Terminator.
All right, kids. Well, it's 10 o'clock, and I can't wait to see what we're going to do in 2024. Coming up this month, we're going to be doing Pitch Black, Aliens, and Dawn of the Dead. And Mr. Restucci is picking our new movies to watch. So it's a different format. We're going to be reviewing some of our favorites that we can't believe we haven't actually reviewed yet. So next week it's going to be Pitch Black. I'm excited. I love me some Riddick.
Can I bring a flashlight?
Cheetah.
All right, kids. So anybody got anything going on?
Just working my butt off. I was able to get into a new convention, Monster Expo, in Nashua, New Hampshire this July.
Awesome. Keep us updated on those dates. Tomorrow night on Weird Awakening, the Weird kids are going to be talking about the Mandela effects of 2023. So you're not going to want to miss it. It's great. I'm going to try to be there, and I think our special friend Tracy Crosby is going to show up.
Nice.
So we've got new things coming all the time. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, please do. And we have a new weird kid in the house. Y'all might be seeing more of her. Her name is Sarah Scar-Kelly, and she is from the great state of Massachusetts. So,
But she's not there now.
No, she's in Mississippi now.
She was smart.
She's moved from M to M, MA to MI. So until next time, kids, stay weird.
Stay weird.
Thanks for showing up.
Rich,
Thank you.
Have a good one.